Good afternoon to everybody. This is Usharani Raskumari, Assistant Professor, Ibotombi Institute of Education, Kanchipur. And we have Dr. Koizum Sobita Devi, Assistant Professor, Department of Teacher Education, Manipur University. And we are here to have a discussion on the topic, Think Self-Management, Not Time Management. It's an academic discussion presented by the Directorate of SERT Manipur. So let's check out why one has to think self-management and not time management, right? Ma'am, a very popular adage is, you cannot control time. You can only control yourself. And it's very relevant with our today's topic, that is self-management, not time management. And I think it's, I believe it's true in every sense, right? Ma'am, as humans, we control our behavior and choices also when it comes to work completion, prioritization, and efficiency. But this has nothing to do with attempting to control time, right? Yes. Because no one manages time, right? No one manages time. It's beyond our control. It's just beyond our control to manage time. Just like we know the sun rises and sets. It's not according to us. Days and days come and go, right? And also clock moves minute to minute, regardless of what we do. So once it's passed, we cannot get it back, right? So the time gone by, we cannot get it back. So we are in charge of our day. We are in charge of our time, right? And it's up to us what or how we, use this time or our time. Every one of us has the same amount of time, right? The same amount of time each day. And there is no way, to store, to save, or to borrow, or even to increase time. There is no way out to do all this. So, right, ma'am? So the only thing we can do is to decide how to use it, how to use time. This is the only thing that we can do, right? Because time cannot be changed, right, ma'am? Right? But we can change the way, we manage ourselves, the way, we use time. This we can, manage, we can change. So it's all about finding a technique or ways to work on ourselves. And this is what I call, or this is what, I think, self-management, right? This is self-management. And self-management is nothing but it's just knowing how to manage ourselves during the time that we have, right now. So this is all about self-management. And in other words, I would like to even bring up this, that time management, we always have this term, time management. But are we really managing time? This is the question, right? Are we really managing the time? This is the question. But here again, what I would like to add up is, this time management is just a part and parcel of self-management, right? It's a portion of self-management, isn't it, ma'am? Yes, ma'am. So, all I would like to say here again, that is there is no such thing as time management. No such thing as time management in the sense that if I want to manage time, it's over to self-management. If I do self-management, yes, automatically it's a time management. Why? Because we all have the same amount of time each day, every day. Say, ma'am, 60 seconds in a minute. We have. Everybody has this. Not only I or not only ma'am. And we have 60 minutes in an hour, and 24 hours in a day, right? So this is what we all have, and this is how we are going to, manage within this, duration, between this 24 hours. So I think it's always right, or it's always true to say that means we have to think of whatever. I mean, I have said right now is all about having to get to know that it's about it's not about time management. It's all about self management, because time management is very much in self management, right? So this is all about what we are to have today's discuss. So in this context, ma'am, what is your say, or further this what to say to move on to a further discussion? Can I have some of your idea or your share on this?
Sure. Thank you, Ma'am Musa.
Thank you.
And as you have said, we all have very, very busy schedule nowadays.
Yeah,
And we always try to give commitment, and we always try to get things to be done.
yes,
Like we have a lot of commitment.
because time has changed.
Yeah, then
Generation has
like
changed.
for ourselves, we have commitment, what I have to do during this stipulated time.
Yeah.
And we have the commitment to our family members,
Yeah.
and we have the commitment to our society also.
Yes, very true.
So here, what we do is that even though we try to manage our time, sometimes it is fail.
Yeah.
And we always think about
Mhm.
struggling for time management. Again, the more we manage our time, the more we get a failure.
Yeah. But we don't get
Yeah.
our things done.
Yeah.
Right?
But, the question is why? Always we are focusing to time management from morning till night, as ma'am had mentioned about. We have only specific time, 24 hours a
24
day.
hours in a day.
And so everybody has got the same amount of time.
Yeah.
And we cannot use it an extra. Even a second, we cannot use it.
We cannot increase.
Yeah, we cannot increase it, and we cannot borrow from others also, as you have mentioned.
Yeah.
And again, we cannot reuse the amount of time we have wasted.
Yeah.
And so, out of this, how can we manage our commitments about ourselves, our family, for the society, everything? And always we wanted to fulfill our commitments, and always we are trying to manage our time, but still we fail. So the big question is why?
Why we fail?
Why we fail?
It's not that we are not focused. We are not managing our time, because we use this.
So it is what it is, because I feel that we focus more on time management and less on ourselves.
Means why things are not getting done. It's because we focus more on time. We do time management and not self-management.
Self-management. So once we have good self-management, automatically we will be able to do time management. So this is what I feel. And there are many articles and books on time management, and it is about how to use our time effectively. This is about time management. But the question is that in the process of making our activities competent and perfect and successful, it involves about setting goals and the priorities, manipulating resources, monitoring progress, and even taking responsibility for outcome. So time management is not really an accurate term for this skills.
Right, ma'am. Here, like as you have said, when we have this time management, we have all these points like set, goal,
setting objectives, goals, and manipulating resources. We have to understand what are the resources we have, and monitoring the progress also. Then we have to check for the
all these elements.
All this required.
In true sense, all these elements is what we term self management.
So,
ma'am, what about calling this time management as a self management? In a way, I think this is also,
in a way this is also true. So once we have the proper time management, so it comes simultaneously. So I'm perfect in self management. So likewise, so only the term time management, it's not appropriate to make ourselves success.
Yes.
So we need to go for the time management. And this, in fact, self-management where we manage ourselves like the most of the time. And again, how we use our time has a major impact on our accomplishment, satisfaction, and stress level also. And again, sometimes we can give the priority and the goals, and about the time management should also focus on balance, purpose, and supporting principles for effectiveness. And so here again, if we are going to focus with self-management, as we have been discussing, time management is a part of the self-management. So in simple way, self-management is about how we understand about self-control, self-control and self-regulation. So once we are able to control ourselves, and once we can regulate ourselves, then we can say we have the self management. And this self management is also the ability to regulate our emotion. Because why I mentioned about this, emotion is a very important element of making and helping and motivating individuals to become a very successful person. And once an individual having the stable emotions, then he can control everything. So this self-management is about the ability to regulate our emotion, thoughts, and the behavior effectively in different situations. Like we have to face many situations, but every situation, if we are able to manage our emotions and our thoughts and behavior, then we can say we can manage ourselves. And this includes about motivating oneself. We should be able to motivate ourselves. And we should not, some people are there we have come across always waiting for others to motivate, to encourage, to support. But the one who can manage themselves is the one who can motivate themselves. So it involves about the motivating oneself and about the setting and working towards personal as well as academic goals also. This is very important. So in the process of academic process, we really require this self-management because it can regulate everything for the personal as well as academic goals. And simultaneously in between the process of self-management, we should be able to control our emotions, our behavior, our attitudes, our habits, everything has to be controlled. And these are the important points and very interesting point about the self-management and time management. I could recollect a few points for this about the Brian Tracy. The author is an author of the book Time Management. And here it lists 4 self-management Ds. 4 Ds.
A, B, C, D.
A, B, C, D. Okay. In the book of time management, it is mentioned about 4 self-management Ds. And this is very interesting.
Okay, this is a these things, management, and it's going to be, having to do with these.
These.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting and it is also very important. And the first D is desire.
Okay, the first D is desire.
Okay. And here we have an intense burning desire to get your times under control and achieve maximum effectiveness. Desire.
Okay, desire means
to get time under control and achieve maximum effectiveness. Okay. Desire to control the time.
Okay, all right.
And another second D is decisiveness. Here we can think about make a clear decision that you are going to practice good time management techniques until they become a habit. So time management should become our habit. Decisiveness, and we should take proper decision that time management should become our habit. Okay, it's very interesting. And the third one is third D stands for determination. Always we require determination to do something. So here we must have willingness to persist in the face of all temptations to the contrary until you have become an effective time manager. So always when we want to become a successful person, or if we want to complete something productive or with competency, then we should have the determination. So this is the third D. So the last one is the fourth D is very important. This is discipline.
Okay, discipline.
Discipline. The fourth D is discipline. It is very important, and always we require discipline to manage our time, for life. It is a lifelong process. Always we require discipline.
Okay.
So these are very interesting areas of how we are going to manage time and how we are going to manage ourselves. And
Ma'am, so like,
Yes, yes.
excuse, like, so this 4 Ds,
Mhm.
right? The first one is desire,
Mhm.
second is decisiveness,
yes,
third is determination,
Determination.
and the fourth one is discipline, right, ma'am?
yes,
So, like, it's these are the factors that is required,
Mm.
or these are the factors that we have, while having that
It's
time
time
management.
and self-management.
Yeah, so
Also,
ma'am,
yes.
I'm just coming to this.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's a time management, right? So it's a time management. But ma'am, let's go back. Means to these 4 points
Four
once
things.
again. Desire.
Mm.
Now, ma'am, this desire, in a way, is more of this self.
Yes.
Until and unless
Mm.
I have a desire,
Yes.
time is not going to give me the desire, right?
Yes. Yes.
And next is decisiveness. It's all about taking decision.
Yeah,
As
that is
you have-
about the self-management.
So
Yeah.
decision again, it comes to
It
self.
comes to me only.
Yeah, and determination
Also,
reflects to me.
no one cannot give us
Until and
determination.
unless
Yeah.
I make a
I
stand.
have to be ready.
Yeah, I make a
Mm,
stand.
mm,
And also disciplined.
Yes.
Right?
I myself only
Yeah.
has to follow
When
this.
when I'm not ready,
Mm.
then no one can,
Yeah. So that is why
So
time
this
management is
Uh-huh.
part and parcel of
of so
self-management. Yeah.
what we can say is these are all about having to do with time management, but ultimately, finally, it
Self-management.
comes to self management. Okay, ma'am.
So these are so time management and the self-management always go hand in hand, and it cannot be separated. And here again, we have a lot of skills also,
Mhm.
like how to manage ourselves and how to manage time. Here also there are certain skills which we need to improve for the self-management.
Let's have it, ma'am.
Yeah, it is very
Yes,
interesting
yes.
because self-management is very important if we want to do something very successful with competency and with satisfaction. Always we require self-management. So there are certain skills which we need to discuss about the
Mhm.
self-management
Yeah.
skills. We need to inculcate all these things. So let's
Right.
have a discussion on that. So first one, which is very important skill, is self-awareness.
Okay, self-awareness.
We need to know ourselves,
Self-awareness.
and it is
Okay, yeah.
about knowing ourselves. Knowing ourselves.
Is it something like intrapersonal?
No, that will be
Related, but not exactly intrapersonal.
intrapersonal.
Okay.
So that is also related. Intrapersonal is about it is related with the self-awareness also.
Mhm.
It includes about our values, knowing about our values. What
Okay.
are the values I have inside me, and what are the likes and dislikes, and what are the strengths, the weakness, everything. It is almost like intrapersonal
Okay, yeah. So
relationships, and it is so first important thing we have to focus. We should try to develop about the how to do self-awareness properly, how to have. Like self-awareness is very important. Once we know
knowing
knowing
oneself.
ourselves within
Okay, ourselves.
ourselves, what is my value, what are the likes and dislikes for me, what are the strengths for me, what are the weaknesses for me.
And how will I get motivation?
Yes.
When can I get it? I mean, like,
Yeah, once we know our ability, once we know our weaknesses, then there is always room to improve our
Yeah,
weaknesses also.
yeah, exactly.
So first thing is that we need to know about this self-awareness. Very clearly we need to know. And the next point is, I think it's very important, the self-control.
Self-control. Okay.
Self-control. It is the ability to control and regulate our behavior, discipline, and emotions. Sometimes we have come across many people who cannot control their emotions,
Mhm.
right? So that inability to control their emotions, it may lead to many negative consequences,
Or it may lead them to some unwanted,
yes, many
paths or
things can
tracks.
happen, and it may go in negative ways
Yeah.
also in our future life. So that is why self-control is very important. It is about the ability to control and regulate our behavior, how how we behave towards others,
Mhm.
and how we are performing our discipline, and how we are controlling our emotions. these are also very important thing
Yeah.
about the self-management skill. And another one is more interesting. This is self-confidence.
Okay, self-confidence.
Self-confidence, we really needed it.
Mhm.
And sometimes we have come across many people who are having lack of self-confidence. Even though they have the ability to do that, they don't have the confidence. So they cannot go for that. So that is why believing in themselves that they can do, I can do, and we should not scare about the taking the risks also. That if we want to go for further development in anything, we should not take like we should not be scared of taking risks. And so we should have self confidence. That is important. And another one is
So, ma'am, this self-confidence,
yes,
I think it's everything. Why? Because if one, wants to have this, self management, but doesn't have this confidence, then I think it's not going to have it at all.
yeah.
So it's everything, self-confidence,
So
right?
as I've mentioned that even though the one has the ability to do something, but if he or she doesn't have self confidence, then they won't be able to do
Yeah.
it. So that is why
So it's very important. Really, it's very important.
It's very
self-confidence.
important skill we have to develop. And another one is self motivation. This is
Okay.
also a very important skill for self management. And some people are there who are always waiting for the motivation, encouragement, support from others.
Mhm.
That is
Yeah.
called extrinsic motivation.
Yeah, that's
But what we really needed is intrinsic motivation, which comes from inside.
insight
We
by our own.
yeah, yes. We have to motivate ourselves. We should have the ability to motivate ourselves. So sometimes, we may not get any other person to give support to us, encourage us, reinforce us, but at that time we have to perform many activities. At that time, if we really have the self motivation skill, then we can perform anything successfully.
Yeah.
So self motivation is very important.
Yes.
It's important. And another one is positive thinking.
Okay, positive thinking.
Positive thinking. This is also a very important skill for self management. And when we have the positive thinking, we can do everything. But when we have negative thinking, we won't be able to do it. So positive
So,
thinking.
ma'am,
Yes, yes.
in between, like positive thinking, negative thinking. So when we have positive thinking, we can do everything, or everything comes very easy or whatever.
Yes, yes.
But if we have this negative thinking, we cannot, as you have said, ma'am, as you have mentioned. So, like these are some of the certain skills that you have been mentioning. So before this, you have mentioned self-motivation. So if someone has this negative thinking, I think self-motivation is going to help it out, isn't it?
Yes.
So is that all?
So
It's very interesting to know that you have mentioned, that self-motivation, and after that, followed by all this confidence, self-confidence, and then it's now is self
positive.
positive.
And we should try, because life, we cannot predict anything. Anything can happen in our life.
Yeah, life is uncertain.
Yeah, uncertain. Anything can happen. Any problem may come at any time,
Yeah,
at any situation. But how to solve it? It is all about the self management. Because we cannot escape from any problem at any stage of life.
So, question, I think it's mine. So it's, I think, remember, there's a question online. So let's see, let's check this question. It's from Dev Dutt Singh. And then the question is, can we ignore the time management while practicing self-management in our life, ma'am? The question is, so, ma'am, yeah, it's from Huining Shubham Dev Dutt Singh. Ma'am, he's online. Thank you, Devdatta, for this very question. So you will have your answer. So, ma'am, the question says is, we are discussing about this.
Yeah, the question is, can we ignore the time management while practicing self management in our life? question is very interesting.
Interesting.
Thank you for this question.
Yeah.
But the thing is that we cannot ignore time management. So time management is part and parcel of the self-management. When we try to manage ourselves, time is always there. And according to the time, also we are going to manage the time, everything. And we are going to manage the ourselves along with the time. Like for example, we have been starting discussing about what are the skills required for the self-management. And while planning for all these self-management skills, always we require time management. So we cannot keep away time management from self-management. And it's in every individual, we have 24 hours in a day. Along with this 24 hours a day, we have to plan everything for our self-management. So as we have mentioned earlier, we have a lot of commitments to our family members, to our society, to ourselves, everything. So we should try to fulfill all these commitments in different sections of life. So how to fulfill all these commitments? We require time. So time management is part and parcel of the self-management. We cannot deviate. We cannot keep aside time management out of the self-management. So simultaneously, it has to go hand in hand.
Like Devdata, again here, I would like to add that when you have your self management, please know that you are having time management. Life has to go on. It has the saying. Why life has to go on? Or because we live and we have this time to live life, right? So time moves on, and with this passing time, when we have our this self management separately or very specifically, you don't have to focus on time management. You can, I mean, you can be like that, but please make sure that when you do this self management, you don't have to focus or you don't have to be very much into this time management if you don't want, but it's already within it. Well, you cannot have again self management. All right, you cannot have self management without this time management also. But the very term time management separately, in a way, it doesn't exist, we can say, or you can ignore it separately. Time management is not there, you can say, but like without this time management, can can I have self management? That, I think that's your question. So if you do your self management, time management is automatically simultaneously, as ma'am has said, is there. So
Yeah, and
this is it.
another point I would like to add on is that, like for example, if you are always trying to do time management, every day we are trying to manage our time. We keep on focusing to time management
Time, yeah.
only, but we could not succeed it. We cannot do it. And like for example, from morning 6 to 8 a.m., 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., I would like to do this, but sometimes it comes to 8:30. Right. And if I want to go to office by 9:30, sometimes it may come to 10. Look, always we are focusing to time management, calculating the time. So that is why it is fair. But the question is that if the time management is along with the self-management, everything will be perfect. And how to manage ourselves, because time management is because of the tasks which we are going to plan and for setting certain goals. So in that process, if we manage time along with our self-management, as we have started discussing about the skills of the self-management, self-awareness, self-control, self-confidence, self-motivation, positive thinking. So there are so many points, so many skills which we need to inculcate for self-management. And the thing is that, like for example, if you think that we can sit for 2 hours to complete to read this book, but sometimes if you sit and start reading that book, counting minutes after minutes, but sometimes if you think, if your mind is somewhere not in the book,
Yeah,
then
exactly.
you won't be able to complete your to read your
And
book.
then the very next moment there'll be a complaint that I don't have enough time to to finish your task, or all this will come up.
So that is why, along with the time management, if you want to make uh, success of your time management, it has to be along with the self management. Then only we can make it in a proper way and to make it a success.
But actually, they wanted to completely ignore this time management. But Devdutta, our this answer to your question is time management. It's not a matter to be ignored or I mean to be accepted. It's along with your self management. So even the topic says think self management, not time management. Okay. Thank you very much for your question.
Thank you.
And ma'am, so we were
Okay,
talking, we were
we shall
discussing.
continue about the positive thinking. And always we require positive thinking, as we have discussed. Anything can happen in life, and we cannot ignore the problems also. Any problem, we should try to face it. And the problem, even the problem is small or big, if we think positively, then we could be able to solve all the problems. But the thing is ourselves, what we are thinking, whether it is in positive or it is in negative.
Okay.
So positivity has a strong power. So that
Positive
is why,
means energy attracts
Yes,
positive this thing.
so that is why we always should have positive thinking,
Yeah.
so that we can manage. Sometimes some problem may come in our life, in any stages of life. Then we should think that I can do this, I can solve this. So all those positive
In
attitudes.
short, be positive.
Yeah. So that is why this is a very important skill for self-management. Another one is personal hygiene.
Okay.
Personal hygiene and grooming. That is keeping oneself clean, healthy, and smart. Once we are healthy, then we can think that we can do everything. But when we are not healthy, then we feel we are a failure. So that is why we should try to make
I think ma'am,
ourselves.
this personal hygiene is a need of the hour. I mean,
Yeah,
now the
this
pandemic, worldwide
yeah.
pandemic, COVID-19. So personal hygiene, I think, so we can manage even this COVID-19.
Yeah, during this
I mean,
pandemic
yeah.
situation.
Hygiene.
And it is very important. And once we have the healthy life, and we feel we are smart. And once we feel we are smart, and we have the positivity also, positive feeling.
And obviously,
Yeah.
we will have this
Mm.
self-confidence.
Self-confidence. So these are the points. And again, another important point is that teamwork.
Teamwork.
Teamwork, uh, the ability to work with others in team. This is very important. And working together with people to accomplish set goals. Like once we go alone, sometimes that journey may end up in a certain way. But when we try to go with other people, our journey may have long distance. So that is why
The pleasure of being
Yeah.
together.
being together, to be involved with others,
Yeah.
to welcome others, and to adjust with other people, and to work in teamwork. This is also part of the important skill of self-management. This is also very important. And another one is comes time management.
Okay,
Time management is very important skill of the self-management. And for achieving tasks on time and according the plan, like when we want to do, when we plan for something, automatically time management is required. Like we can plan for day, we can plan for weekly, we can plan for monthly, yearly, like that. And a 5 years plan, 10 years plan, many plans. So that depends on the time management. So time management, we cannot keep it separately. Time management is an important skill for
Self-management.
It's a very important skill. And another one is goal setting. It is about the planning concrete goals to be accomplished within a set time frame. So to develop self-management, this particular goal setting is very important skill, because we should try to have the different goals for different stages of life. So that is why until and unless we don't have the goal setting, and we won't achieve anything. So that is why goal setting is very important. And these are the skills which we need to develop for the self-management. And again, these are the skills. Now we know these are the skills to develop for self-management.
Yeah.
But again, another question is how we are going to inculcate these skills.
Exactly, ma'am.
Yeah, then we can.
Now we have the skills.
Yeah,
How we are going
we
to
can say to many people that these are the skills we need to develop for having self-management.
management.
But how we are going to inculcate this?
Exactly.
Yeah, this is also a very critical one, very important one. Here we can improve our intrapersonal and the interpersonal. skills.
Both. Intra, inter, both.
Yeah, intra is about the internal world, inner world.
Inner.
Yeah, but earlier also we have discussed.
Yes, yes.
It is about the knowing my weakness, my strength, my ability, my interest, my habit, everything. So this is about the intrapersonal.
Okay.
And we need to know very well about our intrapersonal abilities within ourselves. And we can do introspection. Like what is my strength? What is my weakness?
Yeah.
What is my interest? What is my habit? Everything that we need to know very well about our intrapersonal skills within myself. And another one is we require for interpersonal
yeah.
also. It's about the communication between people through emotion, through behavior, and through attitude. How we are communicating with other people. How can we understand others' feelings? How can I communicate? What kind of behavior I should show towards them if I want to communicate with that person? So such things about the interpersonal skills.
Okay.
So to develop all those skills for self-management, we require very well to know about this intrapersonal skills as well as interpersonal skills.
Definitely we can improve it now.
Yes, and another one which we can do is that SWOT analysis.
SWOT.
SWOT.
Okay. SWOT.
S is for strengths, and the W is for weakness.
Okay.
O is opportunities, and the T is threats.
Okay.
So we should analyze about this. What is my weakness, strengths, opportunities, and threats? So we can list out what is my weakness.
We can make a list.
Yeah, we can make a list with different columns of the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So likewise, we can understand. This helps us to understand ourselves. What is my weakness? Strengths,
Deeper understanding.
yeah, deeper understanding. Because some people we have come across always blaming to others without knowing their mistake.
Yeah.
Right. So these are the things we should not commit such kind of mistakes. First, the important is I should know myself. What is my weakness? What is my strength?
I think if we know ourselves, we'll stop blaming the external factors,
Yes.
that create our problem. I think it's
That
very
is what-
important.
So many people we have come across always trying to blame others
Yes.
without knowing their weaknesses. Right. So that is why first important thing of self-management is we should know ourselves.
Ourselves, yeah.
And we should know our abilities, our weakness, our strengths, everything. And we should try to improve our weaknesses also. This is the process, how we are going to develop our self-management skills. And
Ma'am, in the personal and this intrapersonal, and in intrapersonal, if we know our weakness,
yes,
I think it's going to help us in the interpersonal.
yes,
And a community, because I know my weakness,
yeah.
so I'll be in control
Yeah,
because I know
very
it.
true.
Yeah, right.
Obviously.
So it's very good to know that interpersonal, intrapersonal.
Yeah, once we have good communication within myself, intrapersonal, then I will be able to have good communication with other people.
Yes.
Otherwise, if we don't have our weaknesses and strength, when we try to blame to others, always this is the starting point of having conflict.
Yeah.
So that is why this SWOT analysis is very important, and about this interpersonal skill and intrapersonal skills. These are very important points to improve our self-management skills. And sometimes time is very important. And when, as we have discussed earlier also, we always calculating our time. We have to do this in the morning, in the afternoon, in the night. So everything we are
Monitoring time.
Yeah, always calculating our time. But most of the time we fail.
Yeah.
Why?
Things really.
Yeah. Then sometimes always sometimes we can see about whether I could manage my time or not. Sometimes we can ask question like, am I always late? We can note down. In a piece of paper for every day. Like, am I always late? Then, am I unable to do commitments? Then, am I missing deadlines? And am I not knowing how long it takes me to complete a task? Like that, simple questions we can ask to ourselves.
Self-questioning.
Self-questioning. that will help us to indicate why I'm unable to manage time. Then how to manage, how to improve it. Then firstly, we should try to improve our self-management.
So here also it
Yeah.
comes to self-management.
Self-management. So that is why if these questions are, the answer is no, you have good time management. If the
And
answer
good time management
Yeah.
again implies self-management.
Self-management.
Yeah.
Yeah, once we know that, after asking these simple questions, and if we can list out yes or no answers, and after knowing that, if I know that I have less time management, then at that time, how to improve this time management. At that time, again, we have to improve our self-management.
Like, ma'am, your very first question, like, am I always late?
Yes.
Right? Am I always late? Now, in this question, it's about time management.
Time management.
If you are always late, then what can you do? What
Yes.
can you do
Yeah, how
not
can-
to be late always?
Yeah, how can I improve it? That also will influence by the self-management skills.
So how can I improve? Now, it's a time for self. Here it's not time for the time management. So time management automatically, pass over everything to self-management.
Self-management.
So time management is a self-management.
Yeah,
in short.
self-management. Then again, another important point is self-confidence.
Self-confidence, I think
Yeah.
I mentioned this
Yeah.
earlier. So.
Once we have the self-confidence, we will have self-management. Confidence,
exactly.
Confidence is very important. And sometimes, like we may face many difficulties in life, many problems in life, and we cannot predict anything. Nowadays, during this COVID-19 pandemic situation, there is online classes, and always there's a disturbances for poor network.
Yeah.
In the part of the student, in the part of the teacher. Teachers plan very well for online classes, but if there is no network, they cannot conduct the class. And the students also eagerly waiting for the class if there is no network. So such kind of problems, and anything can happen. Any other serious problems also may come in our life. But the thing is that we can do that. We should have self-confidence. Is much. So once we have the self-confidence, we will be able to manage ourselves. This is very important. And the self-confidence can develop through changes in the attitude and practice also.
Yeah.
Sometimes, some people are there and they say, I don't have confidence. I'm a loser. But the thing is that through certain trainings, they can improve their self-confidence. And it has to be through their changing of their attitude and practice also. This can be improved.
Attitude means like way of thinking.
Yeah,
themselves,
way
because
of
they always
thinking, the
have a
way they
negativity about
Yes,
themselves.
yes,
So
yes.
we need to practice
Yes.
to change this negativity into positivity. It may take
Yeah, it
time,
can.
but it's all about
Yeah, we cannot say that I have less confidence, I will never improve this. We cannot say that.
Yeah.
We can improve our self-confidence through training, through changing our behavior as well as our attitude.
So there is a saying like develop your self-confidence.
Yes.
If it's something that cannot be developed or it's something that cannot be changed, then we may not be having this statement, develop your self-confidence.
Everything
So,
is not static, so we can change it, we can make improvement, everything.
so
So this self-confidence is very important, and we should trust ourselves also that we can do.
Yeah.
Then another one is self-belief. This is almost similar, but belief, confidence and belief is somewhat different in some certain context. So self-belief is very important, and believing is it is very important skill which we can inculcate in ourselves to improve our self-management skill. Believing is required. So once we believe in ourselves, automatically self-confidence will be there. That I can do. I can face all the problems, all the struggles. So all these things we can have, and this can bring more interest and the resources and support, increasing the likelihood of success. So this self-belief inculcate all this interest and the likelihood of the success also. This is also very important. And another important thing is that self-permission.
okay, self-permission.
Self-permission.
We have to give permission to ourselves.
Yeah, we have to give permission to ourselves. Sometimes, when there is a problem or when there is an opportunity, something like that, some people used to say, I'm not good for that.
Okay.
I won't be able.
It's self-declaration. I'm not good
And
for.
then I'm not allowed for that. And like it's just like pre-recorded messages.
Uh-huh.
Pre-recorded messages. I cannot do that. I'm not allowed.
I'm
for
very
that.
happy about
Mm.
saying that. I mean, some people find it very happy, or it's sort of a safe side. Means if I have this, I may not be doing it.
Yeah, sometimes like it's a sign of the lack of
self-confidence.
Lack of self-confidence. So some opportunities are there. Sometimes they used to say, "I'm not allowed for that. I'm not strong enough to cope up with this." Like that, and I'm not meant for this sort of thing. Like that, I'm not worthy of the risks. So as a pre-recorded message in their mind. So we should not do like that. So for any challenges, for any problem, and we should give self permission to move on that positively.
Like I can.
Yeah, I can do.
It may be first time, but everything has its first time. So here I'm really.
So that is why I think this is very important.
Exactly.
It is very important skill which we need to develop, self permission. That I can do. I can do this. I have confidence on me to do this, and I can do, and it will help me to improve that one. So simply. The ideas which we can have in ourselves, that self-belief, self-confidence, and that also will help us to give this self-permission. I think this is very important, and we should never say that I'm not allowed for that, I'm not good for that. So like that we should not think. And another one is difficulty focused thinking. Sometimes some people are there that always thinking like, oh, this task I won't be able to do. This is very difficult. So wherever they find any kind of opportunity,
before trying,
they think that it is very difficult. I won't be able to do it. Those type of thinking we should not do it. We should avoid it. And like sometimes, even though they have the ability to do, they used to say a certain like, but I cannot see how. Oh no, not again. It's hard to believe. Something like that. So this is about like before. Before getting into the problem, they think it is difficult. So we should try to avoid such kind of concepts. And another one is changing our environment. Like sometimes if we feel that in this particular environment, I won't be able to do certain things. So that means that we have to think ourselves, we need to change another environment. That will help us to improve our confidence level. Sometimes, if we stay in the same place, in the same environment, which is not helpful to us, no need to stay over there. Better we think about changing another environment so that we can improve our abilities, our confidence.
Change of environment also helps in building up self-confidence.
Yes, like sometimes we have been here for so many years, but this place doesn't help me. Like that. Or changing the team members, or changing the friends.
So changing the team members also same like changing environment.
Change environment, changing the friend circle. Like
yes.
Also. There is about the changing the environment. And another one is identify inputs, positive inputs, and then identify negative inputs. And we have come across in our life that these particular people giving positive inputs to us, and that these people are giving negative inputs to us. So we can categorize such people. So if we are near with the positive input people, then we have development and growth in positive aspects also. That we should be able to classify for those inputs. And another one is very important is evaluating our emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is very important, and it is very much needed for effective self-management. Once we are able to control our emotions, we can manage everything. Different emotions we have, negative emotions, positive emotions. Once we are governed with the negative emotions, it created a lot of conflicts. So that is why we should try to control our emotions. And sometimes we can ask like, I'm aware of my emotions, or I'm aware of how my feelings affect other people. So such kind of statements we can think in myself.
We have to question ourselves.
We have to question ourselves. I take responsibility for my own feelings, whether it is yes or no. then I'm aware of my emotion, yes or no.
So
Sometimes,
from this response, yes or no,
yeah,
we are going to
understand.
understand,
About
and
our-
this is how self-management is.
Yes, yes. Emotion is
We are
very
going to
important.
manage.
Yeah, we are going to manage our emotions. Until and unless we manage ourselves, and it is very difficult to have self-management. So emotion control is very important. So we should try to check our emotion intelligence
Okay.
level. Then another point is managing change and uncertainty. So as we have discussed, life is uncertain, and anything can happen in our life. So at that time also, we should have confidence that we can face many things. That is the important part of the self-management. Otherwise, if we don't have that much confidence, then we won't be able to manage ourselves.
Ourselves.
Then another last point is higher mission. We should always be in positive, and we should always focus in a higher mission, higher level of activities, and then again in that process, we should try to be very creative, as well as we should have the positive self motivation also. And always, if we want to go higher, if we want to go uh, for a successful level, always we should focus with the higher mission. So these are the points we can
We
inculcate
can follow
to
inculcate,
improve
yeah.
our self management skills.
So it's really interesting, ma'am, that we have all this from you. So this self-management, like productivity, so does not depend on time management. It's like it depends on self-management.
Yeah.
So how can we help students, right? In this very
Yes.
context, it's all about self-management. Means we have to think about self-management. So how can students, make use of this very topic in their academic?
Self-management.
Yeah.
Yeah, then here we have discussed many points about what are the skills required for
Mhm.
self-management.
So
At the
from
time,
this skill, yeah,
time management also one of the important skill for self-management.
self-management, it's within our
Yeah,
it's
then
factor.
so in short, not only students, for everybody,
Mhm.
we require proper self-management to make ourselves successful. And here, the main purpose for learning and practicing time management and self-management skill is to enhance and to improve the overall quality of our life.
Mhm.
Both the time management and self-management is about to improve the overall quality of our time, our life, and it is to increase the amount of pleasure and happiness also in our life. And no matter how appreciated your job is for you, the quality of your life is going to be largely determined by three things. I'll just mention the three things which is influenced a lot in our life. First one is the quality of our inner life. Quality of three things we have to focus. The first one is that quality of our inner life. How well you get along with yourself? How much you like yourself?
Mhm.
How much you like yourself? This is very important. And how good you feel about your character and personality. These are very important. Inner development takes time, and the reflection plus reading and thinking about the great questions of life. So we should love ourselves and how much you like yourself and how much you feel good about your character and personality. This is the first point about the inner life of ourselves. And another second point is uh, about our health. This is not only for the students, for every stage of life, and we need good health.
Health.
Yeah, health.
Okay.
No amount of success will compensate for ill health. So that is why take time to eat the right foods, exercise regularly,
Mhm.
and they get proper rest and recreation. So health is
And
very
to do
important.
this, we need, first we'll
So-
say it's a time, and then obviously we'll pass on to self.
Yeah, then
Eventually.
if we don't have good health, and we cannot manage anything.
Yeah.
So we should have
Yes.
the good health.
Health.
And third important point is about the relationship. Relationship, the people you care about and who care about you are the most critical factors in your life. Then never allow yourself to get so caught up in your work and ignore the primacy of those key relationships with your spouse, children, and close friends. Close friends are really required in our life. So we should take care for them. So we should not away from our relationship with the close friends, family members. So these are the important points. In short, I would like to mention how to manage ourselves, and a great life is one that is in balance. We require balance, body, mind, and spirit, and emotion also. Then, if we spend sufficient time preserving and enhancing the quality of our relationship, we will find that we get more joy, satisfaction, and fulfillment of our work, and we will find success. And then let me conclude with a watch from the author Alan Lakin that time is life, and the waste our time means waste our life, and the master your time and master your life. Learn to manage yourself.
So
And-
finally, ultimately,
yeah.
we have to manage
Learn to manage yourself
ourselves.
and enjoy a fuller and more productive life. Thank you and good luck in using these ideas in every part of our life.
Okay, that's great, ma'am. It's really interesting and informative to have all this from your side. So, productivity is again, I would like to bring up that does not depend on time management alone, but it depends on self management. So, especially for students during this pandemic, during this shutdown period,
Yes,
all they
to
can do is I think they can make list of to do whatever
Yes.
they want to do it.
yes, yes.
And even flexibility is important.
Yeah, as you have mentioned about this COVID-19 pandemic lockdown situation, let's see about the time management. You see, like they have the online classes. They will sit from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. for the online class. But it comes that some of the parents
Complete.
Yeah,
or they
complete
are
or
not
something
very
like
much
that.
happy with.
Yeah, then they said our children are always with the mobile and the laptop. But after the class, when we asked the question, they could not concentrate much in that. So see the time management. So they spend a lot of time in front of the laptop and in front of the mobile, but they could not concentrate very well. It is because of the lack of the self.
So,
So that is why
means they have given enough time in front of laptop or in front of mobile, but the outcome is not that very something that we are looking for.
but they spend the time.
They spend time, but they don't focus on their
Positive
themselves.
outcome. So that is why this is because of the lack of the self-management.
Self-management. All right. It's really, good to know all this. So any message, especially for the students and from your side, on this very topic, especially, since it's based on academic. So short, brief, and very attractive message for the students.
Thank you, Memusa. So from my side, uh, I would like to request all the students during this pandemic lockdown that try to manage yourself, have confidence in yourself, believe in yourself, and never think that you are a failure. Always think that you are a successful person. You can do anything, but the important is that you should have self-confidence. Make yourself be productive, and try to improve all the skills which make you competent, and try to control your emotions, because nowadays you cannot go to school, you cannot mingle with your friends, so you always stay in the home. So always try to manage your emotions, and try to learn new things out of the possible sources from the internet, and make yourself healthy, and try to maintain um, specific time for the sleeping, eating, and reading, and try to manage yourself, and try to do certain creative works, and help your parents, and that will helping parents in the involving in the household activities, that will improve your creativity also, and they will help you to improve a lot of skill. So stay safe, stay healthy, don't forget to make yourself healthy, and to have the good emotional stability, and try to improve all these skills which we have discussed today to improve your self-management. And time management is part of self-management, and we should try to utilize the amount of time we get in every day and through the proper self-management. So once again, have confidence. You have all the abilities to do all the possible things in life. So believe in yourself, know your strength and weakness, and try to improve in the weakness areas, and have a successful life. Thank you.
Yeah. So from my side, life has to go on, come what may. So embrace life with confidence and be someone who inspires life. Please stay safe, be healthy. Thank you very much. Thank you.